So I hope we have completed with the structure of nephron and the kind of absorption and secretion is taking place in the nephron. So now today I am going to start with renal blood flow. Okay, we are going to start with the renal blood flow. So to understand the renal blood flow, we need to understand first that we have two different types of nephron, right? So the nephron where the juxtamedullary nephron, okay, and the second was cortical nephron. I hope you remember these two types of nephron. Okay, now every kidney have the concentration of nephron in 1 million, okay, meaning one kidney hold as well at least 1 million nephron, right? 10 lakh nephron. So now the juxtamedullary nephron are basically in concentration of 20 and rest of the 80% are the cortical nephron. Now these two are having a very important differences between them, that the juxtamedullary nephron have a long loop of Henle which is situated deep in the medulla, okay, and the cortical nephron will have short loop of Henle, okay. So we need to understand here that we have a long loop of Henle in case of a juxtamedullary nephron and short loop of Henle in case of the cortical nephron. Now comes to the structure of nephron, okay, what kind of structure we have in the nephron. So let's start with the nephron, okay. Such type was basically of course your Malpighian body, okay. Such time was your Malpighian body, right? Okay, so here some of this like is a Malpighian body, okay, and in the Malpighian body we know that we have the afferent arteriole which is get divided into some sort of a capillaries known as glomerulus, which then leave as a efferent arteriole. So we have a efferent arteriole here and we have afferent arteriole here. So afferent arteriole is carrying blood here in the glomerulus and efferent arteriole taking the blood away from the glomerulus, okay. Now comes to the next point. The Malpighian body once end will then start with a tubular coiling structure, okay. Such kind of tubular coiling structure is there and this structure is basically known as a PCT, okay, proximal convoluted tubule, right? This is known as a proximal convoluted tubule which is moving in the downward direction, okay. So it is moving basically in the downward direction, okay. So you can see that this is moving in the downward direction. Now when this moving in the downward direction, this is moving in the medulla, okay. It is getting more and more deep into the medulla, and once it start moving towards the upward side, okay, the thickness of the loop of Henle get increase. So we have loop of Henle thin when it is descending, and once it become ascending, the loop of Henle become thick, okay. So rest of that we will have one more structure known as a DCT, okay. We have one more structure known as a DCT, okay. Now DCT is basically get then attached to the collecting tubule, okay. This is collecting tubule, collecting duct, you can say collecting duct, okay. So now we have a three structure here, okay. The PCT, okay, this one is the PCT, then this one is the loop of Henle, and of course DCT and collecting tubule. Now these efferent arteriole later on moving as a peritubular capillaries. They are actually moving as a peritubular capillaries. You can see that the peritubular capillaries is now going to be divided into two sub capillaries, okay. Now one is basically moving downward direction, in the downward direction, you can see this is moving in the downward direction, okay, and then cross this PCT, it is crossing that PCT, and then later on like this, okay, and the one which is from upward direction is also basically move somehow like this, and these two later on further joined, okay. The one branch which leave from here is moving in the downward direction with the downward deflection, okay, it is moving somehow like this in the downward deflection, and then it is moving as a vasa recta towards the downward side, right, it is moving as a vasa recta towards the downward side, and these two capillaries then get combined here, okay, the two capillaries get combined here, and by combining here they form a single capillary which is moving around the DCT, okay. So you can see that we have the bird of a capillaries, okay, we have a bundle of capillaries which is basically known as a glomerulus, then we have a peritubular capillaries, and here at this center this basically is the vasa recta. So we will then mention the name, okay. So this particular portion is the PCT, okay, then this one is basically the descending limb of loop of Henle, okay, descending limb of loop of Henle, okay, and this one is ascending limb of loop of Henle, okay. So it is basically given as a short form ALLH and DLOLH, okay, and of course we have the vasa recta here, okay, these are vasa recta, the capillaries which are basically surrounding the loop of Henle, and we can proportionally differentiate between the descending loop of Henle which is moving in the downward direction and the ascending limb of loop of Henle which is moving in the upward direction, okay. Now to which we have to call as a peritubular capillaries and to which we have called the vasa recta. Now this particular, okay, this particular to which I have shown as a dot, the black dot is basically a vasa recta, and these capillaries which are actually at the upward side are basically known as peritubular capillaries, they are known as peritubular capillaries. Now we have to keep in mind that the cortical nephron right have peritubular capillaries only, okay, and when we talk about juxtamedullary nephron, okay, when we talk about juxtamedullary nephron, we have in juxtamedullary nephron we have two types of capillaries then, okay. First is peritubular capillaries and the second is of course vasa recta, okay. Now this particular nephron is basically also involved in hormonal regulation, okay, they also involve in hormonal regulation, and the cortical nephron are basically are in more concentration and only have peritubular capillaries, Now we have two types of capillaries now, one which is known as glomerulus, okay, one which is known as glomerulus. You need to also understand that in the glomerulus there are near about 50 capillaries, okay, in the glomerulus we have 50 capillaries, okay, and this is what we have a high pressure in the glomerulus. So the capillaries pressure, I meaning whatever the pressure of blood basically present in the glomerulus is near about 60 millimeter of mercury. Okay, and rest of the peritubular capillaries likewise, the one I am showing in a black point, these peritubular capillaries have pressure near about 30 millimeter of mercury. So there is a huge difference between the pressure of the peritubular capillaries and of course the pressure of the glomerular capillaries. Okay, now we also need to understand, when peritubular capillaries joined with each other, they form the renal vein. Always keep in mind, if I will say that peritubular capillaries once get unite, it form renal vein. Why? Because we know that the peritubular capillaries of one nephron, then we have the capillaries of many nephron. At least 1 million peritubular capillary, 1 million nephron have their own peritubular capillaries which unite to form the renal vein, which is then moving out. Okay, we know about it. Okay, so well, then this is basically a structure of a nephron. We know the component that what is PCT, what is DCT, what is their function, what kind of things absorb here. So this particular portion we known as the PCT. Okay, then this particular portion which is exceeding in the yellow is basically known as the Bowman's capsule. Then rest of we also have the red color portion with the glomerulus. Then we have some more portion, like this portion is basically, which is shown in a purple, is basically descending loop of Henle. Okay, and the portion which is shown in the pink color, okay, which shown in a pink color is basically the ascending limb of loop of Henle. And the portion here which is showing in a somewhat dark brown color is basically a DCT, right? And of course this particular portion which is in a dark purple color is basically our collecting tubule. Now specificity is basically, this is basically meant for water absorption. 90% of water absorption is actually taken place here with the help of ADH. Okay, and rest of the water is also absorbed here and also absorbed here. Okay, here there is the absorption of a salt. So this is basic structure, that how the renal blood flow takes place. I told you that we have, when released from glomerulus, we move from efferent arteriole to form the peritubular capillaries and loop of Henle. I hope you understand this topic. Okay, now we will move further and see that how the ultrafiltration and physiology of urine how the urine formation takes place. Okay.